48 hours ago, we got a $16,000 paid in full sale. No ads, no funnels, no inbounds, no bullshit. And you're probably like, what the actual fuck? I know, I was too, because for the last 4 weeks or something, me and the client doing 400K a month started working together and been working together. I've been here, his manager, and to be honest, just a quick backstory. Before we even got to work together, I was like, mate, you're doing that much already. Like, what can I actually help you with? And he said that he saw me as a problem solver, so there definitely must be something that you can, take away from this video. If not, I don't care, it's your business. But at the end of the day, if you're watching this, I'm sure you're already one of the best coaches or agency owners on the market. So, you're surely doing good already, but never enough knowledge, yeah. But yeah, the thing is that the setter booked this call, of course, through the Outbound campaign. Just a quick backstory on what is it that I actually set up for his business. It was 4 different setters doing 150 DMs every single day. That's around 600 DMs every single day across 4 different setters, where we book right now anywhere between 3 to 5 calls on a daily basis. It all starts with the outreach. We know all these hey name, your content is so good type of outreaches that just don't work. So that's not an actual system. That's just you, I'd say, spraying and praying it's going to work. No, what you need is a strategic approach. In this video right here, I'm not gonna go about saying, yeah, this is exactly how you do it, and then chat shit for the next 10-15 minutes. No, I'm actually gonna give you a step-by-step thing on how can you do the same. And at the end of the day, everything is already chronologically uploaded on my YouTube, so it took me 2.5 years to actually get to this point where I can, for my clients, be closing 16K deals and getting 8% of that, which is around 1.2, 1.3K, without even having to deliver any results, just managing the sales teams. Mental, I know, fucking mental. But essentially, it all starts with the outbound. Your approach needs to be unique. Without any of these shitty things I just mentioned, such as, hey name, your content is so sick. No, don't do that. You always need to trigger curiosity. Trigger curiosity, convert. Just yesterday, no, actually today in the morning, it's Monday as I'm recording this video, and as a part of our Monday meetings, it's all about setting the goals and reflecting what went well last week and what went wrong. That's a part of the system I managed to build for the client, so he can actually focus on posting the content, closing the deals, delivering the results, activating this constant loop that I'm talking about, delivering, posting, attracting new eyeballs, setter converting, booking, and then closing again, where that delivery step begins. But what I was saying is that just today on our morning meeting, Setter told me that he woke up with over 60 replies out of 150. That is 40% reply rate, around that number, purely through cold outbound. You know what's the thing? Something that a lot of people, I wouldn't even say neglect, but they just are not aware of it due to their limiting beliefs. Cold outbound doesn't even have to be cold. Genuinely. Every cold outbound with the right approach, with the right message, with the right question that you're potentially gonna finish with in your opener, every lead, cold lead, can be turned into a warm one already. If you assume familiarity, if you find a common ground, if you trigger curiosity, because no matter what and how successful business is that you're actually reaching out to, there's always a human on the other side, and if you trigger their what the actual fuck? If you trigger their curiosity, like bro, you got the deal, because that's exactly how I closed this guy doing 400K a month. Realistically, what can I do for him? He's already making bank, but something was there that I was able to provide and offer him that made him interested in working with me, because I triggered his human side of things. And with that kind of an approach, doing these numbers such as 15, 20, 25% reply rate is just silly. It genuinely just becomes silly. You can wake up with 60 new replies every single day, 60 new leads, which is more than any other paid ad strategy that you can possibly think of. Because after some time, like I talked in the video, I think it was 2 videos ago, ads get ads start recycling after some period. But with Outbound, it's like ads on steroid. You can literally choose who you want to be working with. You can literally choose the person that you want to be dealing with. That's exactly how I came across this guy. But essentially, write and targeted questions. Remember, that's the next step after getting a reply. Not being like a police officer interrogating question after question after question. Actually, implement ACA formula, which stands for acknowledge, compliment, ask. Because remember, people buy into people. We live in the times where the trust was never this low. No one trusts anyone, pretty much. There's never been a single point in time where people trusted other people less than now. So with that being said, your life-changing products such as a program leading you from 0 to 20K a month doesn't work anymore, because that's exactly what everyone is providing nowadays. You need to stand out, and you need to show your personality, not only through the DMs, through the closing calls, but through your content as well, because you also don't want the setters that are not able to represent your values, represent your brand, and make you look like a good person. Because like I've said already, people buy into other people. If you make sure that someone knows you, likes you, and trusts you, you can easily close not only 2-3K deals, but 16K deals instead. Because the higher the quality, the higher the price, the higher the quality. And the higher the demand, even the higher the price, right? You can make your prices even higher. And why would you be dealing with low ticket guys, with low quality guys, if you can just be doing this? 16K, wake up and see the sales, see the ka-ching in the Slack channel. That's what it's all about. And that's essentially how my sort of a pipeline was, I'd say, set up. Everything based on trust. Because at the end of the day, when you genuinely approach your prospect with the intention of seeing if you guys are even a good fit to work together, then there's no salesy pressure on the other side of the screen. We know already. That's been already established for months and months and months. Sales is an industry where energy is transferable, even through the screen. Even when you're just messaging, other person can sense these vibes of you just hard selling them. But when you genuinely want to see if the person would be a good fit for you personally, then there's no pressure, there's no sales intentions, there's none of these vibes, and guess what? The person just opens up to you more. Why? Because the prospect starts feeling comfortable in your environment, which is the most fundamental thing ever in my personal appointment setting process, which is once again something that a lot of people tend to neglect. I don't know why, because it's never actually been easier to just be yourself, Don't absorb this sort of a persona where you're not being yourself. Be yourself, and even if it means that you're going to sell to 10 people a month instead of 20, trust me, that's way better, because you're dealing with higher quality of people, with the most ideal client avatar you can possibly think of, which brings the results, which brings even more customers, and which brings, I'd say, a clean name for yourself, because people will know you only as the guy who actually provides results. And that's how this sort of a pipeline is set up in the backend system, in the backend side of things, setting and closing. When it comes to the closing though, before every closing call, your setter needs to absorb this sort of a system where he maximizes the chances of the deal getting closed. And I'm not talking about some, I don't know, shitty 2-3 bullet points about, this guy is from US, he's been a coach for 2 years and making 10K a month. No, I'm talking about 8 or 9 different sections. These fat paragraphs, I'd say, this big of a paragraphs, 8 to 9 of them, talking about every single possible thing that can help the closer close this deal. Because honestly, single-handedly, by far the most important thing for a closer in order to close these juicy deals is to have the right info about the prospect so he can tailor his pitch accordingly. I know in theory, everyone knows that, everyone is aware of that, but are they actually implementing it? I wouldn't say so. They seem to take it for granted, I'd say. And that's how the sales call actually went down. 80% of it was just the discovery. And then the rest of it was pitching with the right permission, also micro commitment things, that closing thing where you just can't pitch the price point because No matter how good of a conversation you've just had with the prospect, and no matter how many good questions you've asked, only one wrong move can shatter it all, like a glass. You know, you can just throw a small stone at the glass, like you can throw whatever you want at the glass and it can shatter easily because it's that fragile. And you need to ask for a permission before pitching, such as, some sort of a micro commitment. If it's fine with you, I'd like to dive deeper into investment side of things, into how this and that could help you get to the X thing. Just reinstate the goal, reinstate the pain, desire, whatever. And that's how you're being a genuine guy even more. Not someone who's just confrontational and stuff. No, but actually caring about your prospects. And subconsciously, they are giving you the permission to pitch them, which makes it, I'd say, easier to handle objections if there are any, or even not face any objections because you already pre-eliminate them. They gave you the permission. But truth to be told, this deal, it's not all like sunshine and rainbows and thing. No, some objections needed to be handled as well for this one. But at the end of the day, I generally don't agree with this sort of, how can I say it, with this belief in the online industry that 90% of the selling is emotions. That might be the case for B2Cs and for some people that are not involved in sales, but I'm sure you're a guy who is way more developed than just handling some random B2C leads for $1,000 or something. No, I'm talking about 16K deals where the logic needs to be there as well. If I say, give me 16K, the course is 16K, you wouldn't find it valuable. But if I promise you, if I give you a strong promise, a solid one, that for 16K you can start running your business for $50,000 every single month, that's just a no-brainer investment. Give me 60K and I will give you 50 back. You're profiting for like what, $34,000, right? And that kind of a logic needs to be present in there as well. Whether you agree with me or not, I have the data. That's how the closer utilizes, or that's how the closer actually handles his sales pitch. And yeah, he got a 16K close, paid in full, because what's the thing? The person wasn't even having at the time available cash to pay in full, yet he still did because he somehow managed to pull the I don't know, ties, whatever, just financing options, loans, lifetime savings, whatever, simply due to the fact that we provided so much value to him and he saw that solution as the most perfectly tailored solution ever for his situation, that he was like, yes, I want to do this no matter how uncomfortable it's going to be. Imagine me right now giving all my life savings onto something. Obviously, that's not a comfortable decision, but that's what we made him believe. Not believe, but that's how we tailored our approach so the closer can just capitalize on it. And essentially, we didn't show any of these desperate needs, the needy vibes, I'd say. We just strategically followed an entire structure because genuinely, if you see that there's some sort of a sales resistance, I would rather leave the lead be there in the pipeline for like a week or so longer than try to push, and then lose the lead forever. Because the easiest thing ever for you to do is just a follow-up, right? Because remember, once again, what I said at the beginning of this video, people buy from people who they know, like, and trust. If they don't know you, if they don't like you, if they don't trust you, then they're never gonna buy. But when you follow up with them, when you give them some space to breathe, because remember, B2B prospects know the game already. When you give them a space to breathe, they will appreciate you more because you're unlike everyone else who's just pushing. And all of this in this 14 minutes long video is making me proud because just 2.5 years ago, I sold my PS5 to invest in my first ever online coaching program to become an appointment setter. And who would have said that 2.5 years later, I'd be able to, be in a position where I'm building, training, and managing the best sales teams ever for a guy doing 400K a month, right? Going from a city with like 5,000 people living here, being broke as fuck, not being able to afford my first program for like 200 euros to this is kind of mental, so it's not to flex, by the way, it's just to show you how possible it is. And that even though, like I've said at the beginning of the video, you watching this video, probably one of the best coaches or agency owners on the market already, you know that you can make it happen Because if you're charging a K or 1K or 1K or 2K, whatever, and you can be charging more, just do it. But obviously you need to, back up your claims and back up that price point to make it seem worthy, not just you making cash because you want to do so, But essentially, in order for you to even sell these high ticket things, you need a proper system. Now, obviously, in case you just want to scale your stuff, let me build your system, let me build your team. But if you're not down for that, in the worst case scenario, you have my YouTube video where I posted everything chronologically that I've been doing, what I've been doing for the past 2.5 years. I'd say that the path has been paved, and all you gotta do is just follow it. Literally don't even need any brain power for yourself to accomplish that. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'd appreciate you subscribe, and like I've said, everything that you need in order to get to the position to be closing after some time, of course, to closing these high ticket, juicy, life-changing deals paid in full, you have an access to it. Take care and keep killing it. Thanks again.